Hello, everybody, and whoa, is this looks like out of focus and like weirdly colored. I'm gonna play with our lights for a second here, but welcome everyone to the D-pad. I am Rick, and I'm going to try to do something with these to. It like looks blue in the back. I hate that. Not the light. The light itself is green in real life, but this fucking camera likes to white balance all on its own, and so it just kind of goes like, oh, I'll just make everything redder or bluer or whatever. Dimension without feet. My foot is doing a lot better today. It's not 100%, but it's definitely back. I had recently, in the last, I don't know, 2-ish months, I'd been starting to experience some pain in my left foot. That seems to be, I haven't gotten it checked out yet, that seems to be either plantar fasciitis or a heel spur. Not really sure which, but neither seem all that pleasant. And it's been not good unless I've like stretched it out. And then yesterday I went for an hour-long walk, which was great for stretching out, except I smashed my ankle into a stone surface, like a corner of it was like a high curb kind of deal. It's like the stone. So if you're in the city and you'd have those handrails that go down a flight of stairs, it was one of those where it's like a cement stone thing underneath it, and I managed to nail my left ankle on the inside, and it was extremely painful, and is only just kind of coming back from that. I realize I've made a terrible mistake also. Hang on one quick second. Oh no, where did I... Just want to make sure. Things have been a little bit frantic. Here we go. Cool. Nice. I just wanted to make sure that that stuff made it out there, and should also put myself into streaming mode. There we go, on the Discord. Oh, what is that a lyric from? Is that I guess Respect has, yeah, I was gonna say Respect has that. I'm trying to remember. It's like, did they ever say it really fast back and forth, like one after the other? But no, it's just that's the slower one, because then it's like just a little, just a little, just a little. Oh God, I'm sure that I heard that song on its own before, but I can't not in my brain hear or just be reminded of the Blues Brothers as like just the scene that they have for Aretha Franklin with that is like super good. I'm trying to remember if it's her at like a laundromat. Where is she for that? Is it a diner? Bowling alley? I don't remember. But yeah. So it's been a crazy year, top to bottom. I'm sure. Let me close that out. There we go. I'm sure that people have been aware that, like, yeah, things have been kind of crazy. We've been like off and on with a lot of content and things for. Plantar fasciitis sounds like when you need to get a superhero to beat up the extremist totalitarian plant people. Nice. See, I hear plantar and my brain thinks plantar wart. So I don't know. I guess does plantar mean like does plantar refer to like a layer, like a subcutaneous layer of something? Because I think plantar warts are usually ones that are under, like deep under the skin, right, or something. Plantar fasciitis has to do with the plantar fascia, which is it's like a wide band of tendons, I think, inside the I guess a plantar wart would probably be on your heel, wouldn't it? That makes sense. But yeah, it's like a band of tendons at the bottom of your foot. And I guess that and heel spurs are like related to one another in that getting a heel spur will usually also, I guess, result in plantar fasciitis because it is like stretching the plantar fascia, which is not good either. So it could be one or the other or both. Who knows? But it actually, after the walk yesterday, it feels my heel feels a lot better today than it usually does. So I think just the long walks are the answer, so long as I don't smash my foot into stuff at the same time. But yeah, so for anybody who is joining us who's not a member of our Patreon, we have patreon.com/dpadfm. Normally these are patron exclusive hangouts. We do them once a month, usually the last Friday of the month. This would have been last week, but we pushed it back to this week. Mostly for a reason like 50-50 between a reason we'll get into and another one being I had a like sizzle reel essentially that I wanted to include in this video, and I wound up not finishing. I'm literally, Premiere is open right now. It's at like 90% completion, and it's like, if I had one more hour, I would probably have this basically good, but I don't have an hour. So we're just diving in. There will be a big video tomorrow that essentially is going to show off a lot of the stuff that we are going to be doing for the remainder of 2023. It's sort of a teaser for the last 5 months of the year. Yeah, Patreon is like a big fucking mess right now. I would really love for there to be a better alternative than Patreon. I've had issues with them for a couple years now, but unfortunately there's just not a lot of good like alternatives out there, right? But yeah, if you're not a member of the Patreon, you can head there. This is usually a $9 tier exclusive thing. And there's going to be some changes to that coming up as well. We'll get into that. The story of the hour here as we I think at this point everybody's we got the bulk of folks that are coming in, and anybody that trickles in I can fill in as well. But so things have been kind of crazy for the last year. A lot of our content's been kind of up and down in terms of like reliably posting stuff. I've only had a few games that I've been able to like really keep consistent throughout. Like Tears of the Kingdom is like a rain or shine, there will be 5 videos a week kind of situation, right? Honestly, I do have coding and web skills, and the idea of building a Patreon-like site terrifies me, just because I know how to work with like shopping cart code as well as the handling of like bank transactions and stuff like that, but like I don't want to be responsible for that, you know? But yeah, so things have been kind of all over the place. I've got tons of updates on the various series that we're working on. But wrong thing. There we go. But yeah, it's been kind of a crazy year. There's been a lot of ups and downs, and we've talked about it a little bit here and there, and I wanted to just kind of make the big announcement. So since September-ish, I guess further back really, since last summer, but like since September, Sarah and I have been like looking at houses and viewing a bunch of things. Near the end of the year, things were looking really good for this one place that we were like super excited about. And then we got an inspector to come in, and they were like, "Hey, you're going to want a structural engineer if you're going to put, you know, a real offer down on this." And I was like, "Oh, fuck, okay." And like the roof was in terrible shape, and this person like did their own custom shit that was like extremely dangerous. Ultimately, like, if you ever seen Lincoln logs, right? So they're mostly just the log, but there's that like square notch that's in there. Essentially, those are good in like really specific circumstances at a real world scale. Generally speaking, you don't want to, if you have a round log, you have to do that. But if you're dealing with standard lumber, you really don't want those notches to get very deep if they're going to have notches at all. And these were deep and visibly cracking. And it's like, oh, the first floor is about to come crashing down into the basement. So that was kind of a big heartbreak moment over the holidays, and we kind of took like a good month or two off from looking, and we were just like, yeah, that was a lot to invest in, because we were looking at places that were far away, and it was starting to become every like weekend or two we were driving an hour to an hour and a half away to go look at stuff for several hours and then come back, which as far as like, you know, the channel is concerned, that means a big bite out of any recording times and stuff. And it meant coordinating became harder, because it was like, all right, well, we don't know which weekends are going to be good because if something comes up, we need to jump on it right away. I think we've done a pretty decent job of keeping things moving, though there's obviously some stuff that fell by the wayside or has kind of hit the back burner. But earlier in the summer, I think end of May, start of June, somewhere around there, we found another place that was actually extremely close to the place that we looked at before that was also really good. And we got to the same position with that, and we were like, okay, so we want to see where inspections go and see where all these things go, and wanted to make sure that all of that was in the clear before we started. Like, it's weird because you have to like fall in love with the place to want to put an offer in, because the idea is you may live there forever. But by doing that, you are really, it's funny. It's like it feels like a metaphor for like relationships and stuff too, right? Where it's like, all right, you got to like really invest into it, and you make yourself vulnerable to be getting hurt in the end. And it's like, yeah, but that's the whole point, is that you're trying to like, make the connection with the person, or in this case, the thing. And it's really emotionally taxing and draining, and physically taxing and draining too. I was not expecting how much, like how tired I would get with all of this. And I'm not even the one doing like the driving. Sarah's the one who drives, and I am passenging for all of that. So she has to deal with actually doing all the driving on top of the mental math of all the stuff that is going on. So like, just a lot of travel constantly. We've probably gone to look at, oh boy, I would wager somewhere in the ballpark of like 20 houses, maybe. Like, the crazy part is there are people who will look at like 2 or 3 a weekend every weekend for months and months and months. We probably looked at more than 20 now that I'm thinking about it. But it was like, there are people who will do a bunch of that. We have friends who lived in New York who moved back to Massachusetts, and that involved essentially making an excuse every time they came to Massachusetts to do stuff to have at least 1, if not 2 or 3 houses to look at while they were around. And they did finally find a place that they really liked, which was great. So like, it's just such a daunting process. And it's like football in a way, where there's a lot of standing around, there's a lot of getting ready, and then you go, and then you stop. You have to wait for another thing, and then, oh god, it's all cylinders again. So like, it's just such start and stop and start and stop and start and stop. And again, that gets really, hurry up and wait is the classic aphorism for that, because and it's true. We had places we wanted to look at where it listed on like a Monday or Tuesday, and we went, all right, maybe we can make some time on like Saturday or maybe Sunday. And then by the time we got to the weekend, the house already had an offer on it, and we're like, we can't take days off of work for like a maybe on this stuff if it's going to be potentially dozens of houses that we want to look at. So that became a whole thing unto itself, and it's been a whirlwind is kind of what I'm getting at. There's been a lot of stuff going on. It's been a lot of our time, a lot of our mental energy. I know that like, even when we're done looking at stuff, and even when we come back and we're like, okay, so we did all that, we have to think about those. Okay, I'll sit down and I'll try to edit, and I'm just like, man, my brain is just dead. I kind of can't focus on writing or editing or anything, because it's just been so much to think about, right? And it's been kind of a hurry up and wait in terms of living situations for me, between, 2004 and 2012. I believe I lived in 7 different places, across those 8 years. There was a lot of moving all the time. And it got to the point where I kind of stopped unpacking things after a while. Like, I would, clothes and toiletries and like basic stuff to put on the wall or put on a desk, I would unpack. But after a couple of those moves, I kind of just started being like, all right, there's going to be just some boxes that hang out because I know that I'm only going to live here for 1 year. And it sucks to unpack and repack. And that kind of sucked. And then we moved into, I got invited to move into an apartment that John and Meg had found in the Somerville area, because they were like, hey, we really need a third for this apartment. Are you in? And I had just moved out of my college town into my dad's house for that summer into the fall, and I was like, yes, I would love to move. And we lived there. That was December 2012 until I think December 2017. It was almost exactly 5 years. And I still hadn't really gotten over not being ready to move again immediately. Like, there were boxes that stayed packed for that entire time. And I didn't do a lot of decorating in my room, even though I was there for 5 years. I mean, so the video where we kind of killed off the Fright Before Christmas and introduced the Dreamy Let's Play, Dustin is sleeping in my bed in a barren room. Like, I think I had a desk. I had like a set of shelves and a dresser and a closet, but I don't think I like had any posters up. I didn't have stuff on the walls really, just because mentally I was in a space where I'm like, well, I don't know how long we're going to be here. And then 2017, John had moved out of that apartment and Ben had moved in, and Meg had also moved out. So it was me and Ben moving out of that apartment and moving into this apartment along with Sarah and John, who had recently moved out of where he was living at the time too. And the four of us were here for 4 years up until like late 2021. And we had mentioned John had been kind of in and out at that point already, and kind of more or less finally, like in a final sense, moved out in late 2021, like summer into fall. And we kind of mentioned to Ben, like, hey, we're probably going to be looking at houses fairly soon. Like, we didn't have like an immediate plan for it, but we're like, sometime in the next like year, we're probably going to try to move or something. And he's like, okay, all right, cool. And we were like, yeah, this isn't us trying to like kick you out. We're just like, hey, we just don't want to have you suddenly be like, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to get out of here in a month. Goodbye. But the synchronicity of it was that he had a friend, I think on the other side of town, who suddenly really needed a roommate. And he was like, oh, perfect timing. I'll just move over there. So he's been over there for about almost 2 years. Not quite. I think he was October 2021. And so for the last 2 years, it's just been me and Sarah, and the cats. And last year we started looking at places, and the end result of all of that is that we are buying a house. I don't know that I've actually said it out loud like that so far. It's been a really surreal process. But we found a house that is really, really nice. I'm getting like choked up. Oh no. We found a place that we really, really like. We put an offer in like a month and a couple weeks ago. And it wound up being more competitive than we thought. And it got accepted, and we, it's been slower than the process normally goes. There's been some back and forth on stuff. But yeah, we got it. And as of, 2 days ago, we had, like the financing agreement went through, because there was like one last bit of agreement stuff that needed to go through. So, we've got like the house insurance is like mostly settled at this point. And the closing is in 3 weeks, and our lease is up 6 days after that. So 3 weeks from today, we're driving like 10 miles from here to go and close. Not 5 miles from here. And then we're immediately driving to Connecticut for a wedding. So our first 3 days of our 6 days that we have to leave, 7 days that we have to leave, we're not even going to be home. So that's going to be good. And then we're going to be the next like Monday, we're out of here. We're hiring movers, and we're moving everything in. So stuff is moving extremely fast. And it's been a lot. It's super exciting. One of the things we've kind of looked for in houses is a space that works like this in terms of like recording space, or having even just like something that like makes a little bit of sense. And the best thing about a house is you can change stuff, you can modify it, you can build, you can expand, you can do all sorts of things. And we have all sorts of ideas for things we want to do with this place. It's a really great house. I don't want to give too many details about it. I've tried to be a little bit more protective of like where we are over the last couple of years, but it's about an hour west of the city. And yeah, I still don't think it's quite like sunk in yet, to be honest. I think that's because like so much of like this is the room where I spend most of my day between like work stuff and D-pad stuff. Just like this is where I kind of hunker down for most of the time. And like I tried to be very like, okay, started packing things in that room, I've started packing things in that room, and I'm like, oh man, the stuff that's like behind me over here, I kind of want to be like the last stuff that goes into boxes, so that I'm not just in this bare room for like the last week we're here. So yeah, that's been kind of a huge thing. And it's really, really exciting and scary, and it's a lot. Yeah. So not to dive into too much personal stuff on top of that, the truly awful synchronicity of stuff. I recently got lumped into a super goddamn gigantic layoff at my old job. Apparently about 2/3 of the entire department of a very large company all got let go. So I am in the middle of job hunting in the middle of all of this also. So I'm just going to throw patreon.com/dpadfm out into the wind, and also dpad.store, where there will be some new shirts. I have among one of the things that's not in the sizzle reel is that I'm working on a bunch of new merch. I've got about half a dozen or so things that are going in there. This is not like me going, hey, everybody, like, please, like, I don't know. I've always been kind of uncomfortable talking about, like the money side of things in terms of like Patreon and merch and all of that. But, as far as Patreon goes though, in general, I have been meaning for a really long time to make some changes to our Patreon. It's super outdated. The rewards maybe don't make a ton of sense anymore. Also just the way that it's written, I always kind of hated, and I wanted to fix that forever ago. And in addition to that, Patreon changed like everything in the last couple months. The reward tier structure is totally gone. And they moved their banking stuff to Ireland or something, so everybody's cards are getting all fucked up. I need to go and check from the patron side of things that I'm not getting dumped off of a bunch of stuff, but that's beside the point. So, one, anybody who is currently a patron, like of us or anyone, go and check and make sure that your stuff is still active, because there's a very good chance that it's not, because Patreon did not think about this stuff before they went international with their banking thing. But I wanted to make a lot of changes on there in terms of like structure and prices and what people even get for that money. So there's going to be in the D-pad Discord later tonight, there are going to be at least one thread, maybe a couple threads, essentially fielding info. I'll probably post stuff to Twitter as well, to try to field feedback, for one, on the existing rewards, but also ideas for other stuff to do. Not just other things to do for Patreon rewards, but also just like things in general. I would love to change up our content a little bit. I'm going to be getting back into doing review stuff very soon. I had been hoping to do it earlier this summer, and then all of this stuff has been going on. So it's left me with much less time than normal. Channel stuff in general I wanted to look at. I wanted to look at starting a new podcast, either a brand new one or reviving the D-pad as the D-pad After Dark for good this time. And I am very serious about that. I'm trying to figure out details before I go too much further with it. But the plan in that regard is I would like to bring the D-Pad podcast back. And just, yeah, I don't know. And also in terms of just like updates and things from us, like what people prefer in terms of how that happens, including the Hangouts, like feedback and stuff on the Hangouts. I'm also really interested in. But yeah, so that's like the main big news, is that I hesitate to say we bought a house because that part comes 3 weeks from now, essentially, as we get the keys. It is we bought, but like we're buying is the correct verb tense for that, and that has been an all-encompassing, all-consuming part of our lives for the past year, and it's been a lot. It has been a lot to be kind of dealing with. And I know that there was a video recently where I like misread a text involving like the offer and stuff, and I didn't want to go too public, too official with where we were on that process yet, because we had gotten to that point already before and things fell apart. So I was like, all right, I want to wait until we are further along. And then I was like, oh, you know what? The next Patreon Hangout is coming up, so I'll do that. And then we had to push back the financing agreement by a week because like there was a person on the seller side that was on vacation and it delayed stuff, and it suddenly got really scary as we were like, can we actually move that, or is this whole thing going to just fall apart? And I got let go like the day before the Patreon Hangout was supposed to be. So I was just like, I'm really not in a good spot mentally for putting on a smile and doing all this stuff. So, well, I guess that's true. I guess we'll put the down payment down and be the owners of the deed to, et cetera, et cetera. Yep. Everything is debt. Credit cards are debt. Liquid assets are debt. It's a fucking mess. But yeah, so there's a lot that's going on. And I have been slowly taking steps over the course of the summer to start, debit not being debt. I always used to mix those up when I was like very young. Because was it debit and EBT, neither of which are debt. And it's like, okay, that's fucking confusing. Minus a letter and plus a letter, and neither one is right. Cool. But yeah, so I've been taking steps over the course of the summer to try to cultivate and oh God, what's the other word? I was gonna say procure. That's not right. I guess cultivate is fine. You only get the, no kidding. I've been trying to consolidate, I guess, a handful of stuff that is going to be coming out in the next like month or two, especially since in the final weeks we're doing recording this weekend, and then we're doing recording in 2 weeks, and that's it here, because there was a point we might have talked about this before, between July and August. Originally, I think six of those 8 weeks had stuff going on. And I'm literally bailing on one of the things just to be able to not have tomorrow and Sunday be the last time that we get people together here. Just because things have been so fucking chaotic. And yeah, there is some stuff that I've been quietly recording on the side. There's been some stuff I've been hanging on to so that as we are moving and as things are getting a little bit tricky on the like recording side of things, that we'll be able to have stuff still coming out. So for example, in August /September, whichever, like as we get through stuff, you can expect that we're going to be getting back into Mega Man weekday stuff. We have some of that pre-recorded already. Same goes for post Sonic Origins Sonic. We have a couple weeks of Sonic Rivals 2 already in the bag. I have another project entirely that I haven't even announced that is going to have videos go up as we're mid-move. I'm trying to think if there's one more that's in there. I guess if I am doing my damnedest to get Sonic Prime up. It's been a back burner thing again for the last like week or two. Partly because I was so fucking frustrated that I just kind of went, all right, nope. I'm just gonna get stuff ready for this, which wasn't even done anyway. There'll be a like sizzle video tomorrow that has a bunch more info in it. And yeah, so lots and lots of stuff. I guess I'll do kind of the usual spiel, and I'll kind of add stuff in as we go. So Legendary Let's Play, we've been playing Tears of the Kingdom. We are about to leave Kakariko Village and head to Hateno Village. This game is going to be hundreds of hours. Just, I can see it already. Whether we, continue at the pace we are, or we speed things up and I wind up streaming stuff down the line, this game is so fucking big. It's great. I actually am really, the Shrine Sensor is going to be awesome. Ironically, the Shrine Sensor seems like it's going to be in some ways less useful in this game, only because light routes are generally really easy to find, which means you know exactly where they are on the map above you. So all you have to do is go underground, and the Shrine Sensor really isn't all that necessary anymore. But we're going to get it anyway, I hope, when we're in Hateno when we talk to Robbie. But yeah, that's been going really well. That is going to be sensor. Yeah, the sensor for other stuff is really the value there. We are going to be recording a bunch of that this weekend, and then a bunch of it 2 weeks from now. And we're going to do our very best to not have interruptions there. We are going to be. So I guess I may as well announce this chunk of it too. So we're going to be moving essentially as we get into Labor Day weekend. At which point we're going to have another stack up stream. We're going another special delivery, and with it being Labor Day and all, we're gonna be playing some Yoshi's Island. We're gonna be doing some Yoshi's Island. I'm actually gonna have a couple Yoshi's Islands ready, so if we blaze through one, we are able to continue with another, and we're just gonna keep on plowing through, which should be a good time. Yoshi's Island's always a good time. Those games are great. But yeah, once we actually move, we have I think one weekend plan before, like, outside of the holidays themselves. Like I have like a niece's birthday party is probably going to be shortly after we move, and then that's it. So it's going to be real easy to start curating. That was the word I was looking for earlier. Curating a lot more stuff. We're at least going to start with the original Yoshi's Island. I have it in here somewhere. We've been moving stuff around, but I have Yoshi's Island, and we'll depending on what kind of time we have, we will wind up playing one of the other Yoshi's Islands after that. Because there's what, New Yoshi's Island and Yoshi's Island Topsy-Turvy, I think. Yoshi's New Island. And I think it was the Topsy-Turvy one. Or Yoshi's Island DS. Are there 3 other ones? Yeah. I don't know. But Topsy-Turvy might be just a Yoshi game, not a Yoshi's Island game. Yeah, Woolly World and Crafted World, which are more Yoshi's Story than Yoshi's Island. Which is interesting that the Yoshi series has two parallel things in that same kind of way. But so that's something to look forward to. We're going to hammer out some details on that soon. We're looking to continue raising money for veterans and mental health care for them and all of those things. And it's a great cause. So I hope that you guys can turn up for that. Talked about Zelda. Pokemon. Pokemon continues. We have Brilliant Diamond, where we just posted our 100th episode of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. Goddamn. And we are still doing the Rock Climb World Tour, though it's starting to wind down. We're getting close to being able to continue. And we are going to be headed to the 8th gym. So Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are going to be wrapping up soon. I do not know right now if John is going to be continuing Shining Pearl. I'm going to talk to him about it. I will see how he's feeling about it. we'll go from there. If he doesn't, then I'll just continue through and finish the game. If he does, then we'll keep doing it the way we've been doing it. And then post game time, and then we're not getting a new Pokemon game this year. We're getting DLC for Pokemon Violet. So right now I've been streaming the post game for that, and at this point I guess I'm kind of clear of the proper post game. And the only thing that's really left is unlocking 6-star raids by doing a bunch of 5-star raids. And oh, that's right. Yes, there is a Pokemon Direct happening. I would be extremely surprised if they announce a new Pokemon game for this year. There, just because they are doing, was it the Indigo Disc and the Blue? Oh no, was it Indigo Disc and Teal Mask? I think. So like, I don't know. Maybe we do get something. I'd be really goddamn surprised. Yeah, if it's 35 minutes, I would imagine that there's going to be DLC talk for Violet. Yeah, what else? They might talk about Sleep for a little bit. They'll probably talk Detective Pikachu. And then I don't know what else. 35 minutes is a long time. So, like, I don't know. A new mystery dungeon would be pretty cool. I'm curious if they'll have another app of some kind, or honestly, I could see them even announcing something about Pokemon Go winding down, to be honest. Yeah, no, I think we'll wind up. Oh yeah, they talk about like new raids and stuff. I don't know if they'll announce something for next November yet. That might be a next year thing. Actually, on top of that, it's looking very likely that the Switch successor is going to be released next holiday season. Not this year, but next year. So for all we know, they're working on a launch title for the follow-up, or like a very nearly launch title or something. So I don't know. We'll see how things are going there. But with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl winding down, and without a proper new and also in Arceus we're in post-game territory as well. So without a new thing coming out this November for us to do standard videos for, the plan is that before the end of the year, we're going to be getting back into Pokemon Insurgence. We are finally going to return. It's actually been almost 8 years since we played Pokemon Insurgence last, and we are finally going to come back to it. The bad news with that is I cannot seem to locate the actual saved data. I have most of our video, like our files and things from when we originally played it, but the save data is stored in your C drive in a very specific location, and both on this computer and the laptop that we recorded it on, it does not exist there, and I don't know why. So there may be some replaying going on in order to prepare for the final thing there. I am also not going to be shy about if I do have to do that, I'm going to be using Cheat Engine in order to get there. We're going to replicate our living Pokemon as best we can, but like we're going to make this as unpainful as we possibly can, because replaying that as a Nuzlocke, it's honestly miraculous that we actually got through 138 episodes of that without losing the Nuzlocke. Or rather, without whiting out, because in that game, that's how Nuzlocks end. So yeah, we're gonna get that caught up, and we should be getting into that by the end of the year, probably going into the year into next year. And if we lose the Nuzlocke, we're going to play through the rest of it normally, so we can see the end of that game at long last. It's been one of our long overdue hanging games there. Oh God, I can't I'm dreading the Elite Four in such a terrible way. It's gonna be absolutely fucking horrible. I'm expecting some true garbage bullshit to happen. Considering the stuff that they have thrown at us the stuff that they've thrown at us at the 1 2/3 marks of the game, would not be surprised even a little bit if there's some extreme, insane shit going on there. I mentioned Arceus. I mentioned Violet. I think that's everything on the Pokemon side of things. The Brother Lock, X and Y, is going to be getting posted soon. I've been working on some like post-production stuff for that, and that is one of our stored series essentially. So as we get to the deeper into this month, you will start seeing those go up. They have all been saved. None of those videos have been lost. So I promise you those are all accounted for. So hopefully nobody's been too worried about that. Same thing goes for the Nightmare and the Dreamy Let's Play streams. Those have also all been stored. They are also going to be going up later this month, and we will be caught up on our streams entirely around the time we move. I don't know if it'll be by the time we move, but we'll be caught up very, very soon. That'll be nice to do. And then at that point, we'll be returning to our usual schedule of essentially streams going live a day or two after they happen. So that'd be cool. So that's on the Pokemon side of things. Mega Man. Mega Man is also going to return later this month / early September, somewhere in the mix. We played Street Fighter Cross Tekken literally, I think, last year. And it's just been for 100 different reasons, it's been just kind of stuck in place. That will be unblocked by the end of the summer, and we will be able to continue on that. We've got tons more 8-bit deathmatch in our future, along with a number of other fan games and even a couple official ones in there as well, including Project Cross Zone 1 and 2, where we are going to wind up putting those up for streams. I'm going to have to figure out how that's going to work, because by the time we get to those, I don't think Persona 4 is going to be done. And I'm certain that the Nightmare streams will not be done, so I will have to get a little creative with that. Unpaused got into a little bit of a locked situation earlier this year, right around the time things started heating up again with looking at houses. We fell behind on the daily uploads for that. I actually have, where's my spreadsheet? Let me see if I can find that real quick. I have a spreadsheet of when everything should be going up. Let's see. The next one that is going to go up, assuming I got this right, let me check real quick what the most recent one was. Most recent one was Sun versus Moon, Chapter 6. Cool. So the next one that's going to go live, I actually thought I had pushed it live already. This one is already online and waiting for it. But the next one that goes up is Mega Man 02, which would have been the May 20th upload. So we're behind by a little bit. More than a little bit. We got a lot of catching up to do. But between August and September, we're going to be clearing that out a bunch. We hit a bunch of really long series during a point where we were like running out of space on hard drives and trying to scrabble things left and right, and I just kind of had a lot less time. So as we get into these next weeks, I'm basically going to be like pre-editing and exporting a shitload from like the Supersonic Let's Play and the Mega Let's Play and our Breath of the Wild series and stuff, and those will start getting uncorked probably this coming week, actually. And we're going to be trying to upload a couple a day as often as we can to get us caught up. And yeah, my hope originally earlier, like a month or two ago, was that we would catch up in time for the 1-year anniversary of the Unpaused channel, which I think is August 22nd, 26th, somewhere in there. Essentially we did it on the legendary Let's Play's birthday. And we're not gonna get there in time. We have less than 3 weeks. I got to get stuff packed, and we're behind by about 70-ish videos, maybe 80. So we'll be steadily kind of releasing more and more, and some of them are pretty short too. Like Sonic Jam is the next one up after Mega Man 02. That one's super short. Sonic Jam for Gamecom is coming up pretty soon as well. ARMS is in there. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is in there. Fucking Duolingo is in there. Like, so there's a bunch of super short ones that'll be very easy to get situated there. I mean, the good news is when it comes to those videos, more often than not, it takes, I'd say, less than an hour for the really long ones to edit them properly, to like tie them together and export them. The shorter ones, Duolingo is going to take me like 5 minutes. And then it's export, walk away, do other stuff, come back. So yeah, the trickiest thing is knowing where to split stuff. One of the struggles I'm coming up against for Breath of the Wild is for the like 4th or 5th segment for it. I'm essentially trying to make each chapter after the first one be run up until the next boss fight. The problem is one of the chapters is like 12 hours and 15 minutes or something, and YouTube cuts it off at 12 hours on the dot. So I have to figure out how that's going to work. That's going to be fun. But yeah, so that's going to be coming back up. And once we move, it'll be easier. Like the setup that I have for my hard drives is kind of a limiting factor here. And unfortunately, part of that is because the electrical situation here is so bad. So honestly, once we move, that will actually get a lot easier. Right now, I can only plug in 2 drives at a time. And usually I'm plugging in the raw drive and the finished drive for any given series. Like I have a Zelda RAWs drive and a Zelda finished videos drive, and I need to use both of those at the same time. Yeah. I was seeing some stuff about the Sonic Extra. I haven't looked into it too much just yet, but I did see that. That's pretty cool. I'll have to dig into that a little deeper. It'll be very interesting to see if there's any more stuff that comes out of all of these. But yeah, so unpaused. We are... How many videos in are we? I believe the next one is video number... actually, let me scroll to the top here. Yeah. Okay, so... August 26th was the first day that we uploaded one. And Sun and Moon, Chapter 6 was video number 267. So... even if we put out none between now and, 3 weeks from tomorrow, which would be the 1-year anniversary of all of that, that would be 267 out of 365 unpaused videos, which is pretty fucking good. Pretty goddamn good. I think I had given an estimate originally that I was expecting this to be around like 2.5 years worth of stuff, which would be... ballpark like 900 videos. Still feeling fairly confident in that, to be honest, because there are some series that are multiple games in there. Like we're gonna get to the Super NES Classic Edition soon, and I think that's gonna be in 2 parts, but that one's gonna be like 14 games per video or something like that. So yeah. But yeah, so that's gonna be the whole thing. Unpause will be coming back soon. It's already kind of back. There was a really big gap for a while, and we've been trying to keep the gaps as minimal as I can. Prepping for the video that goes up tomorrow, that was supposed to be part of this video right now, wound up being a higher priority than those unpaused videos. But that'll be coming back soon. Back on the Mega Man side of things, Mega Man Star Force 3 continues. Though I believe this coming weekend is the last of our... So the ones that go up tomorrow and Sunday are the last of our shored up episodes. We had recorded like 16 videos months ago, like at the start of the year. And then recently we recorded another 4 episodes of that, and those run out this weekend. Jeff's going to be coming by this weekend, though, so we're going to at least make sure to have enough Star Force to get us through the move. And then we should be able to continue from there. This game feels like it's going to be much bigger and chunkier. Like it feels... I know we stop a lot to like chit-chat and make fun of stuff in the game, but it does feel like it takes longer to get from one chapter to the next, so I'm very curious how the rest of the game goes from here. It also might just be a matter of that there's 4 like large chapters that have like multiple things going on, because we had the Spade Magnus thing, which was kind of our like tutorial to the game, and then we had a couple things happening before Diamond Ice. So we'll see. I don't know. This could be, getting close to, a third to halfway, or it could be like 20% of the way through there. Yep. Yeah, I know. I like to. It's been a trick for trying to balance variety with like hammering down on specific ones. But we're just going to kind of experiment and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think we have 4 of a couple things in there so far. I don't know if we have 5 of anything yet. But we've definitely had at least 3 of some of them for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I've been enjoying it a lot. I've been definitely enjoying it more than 2 in a big, big way. And I've been enjoying it more than 1 as well. This definitely seems to be the best of the 3. That seems to be the universal opinion of the Star Force series that 3 is the best. And I was like, yep, I get it. Oh yeah, poor Button. Oof. Oh God, you guys. Let's see. Yeah, did that go in my butt? Dun 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 dun. Sonic's. Oh yeah. Also, Taurus coming back was like, I still don't get it. They just brought him back. He's just there, and it's like, is there a reason? We straight up deleted him in the first game, and it's like, nah, he's still here. Like, all right, man. Yeah. So for Sonic, we are going to be playing probably the rest of Sonic Origins Plus this weekend, or at the very least, we're going to do Sonic 2, maybe Sonic 3, this weekend for that, and then we're going to wrap up what we're doing there. Either this weekend or 2 weeks from now, and then that'll be the end of the Sonic Origins stuff, and we'll finally be back into doing the proper Supersonic Let's Play for like 2 months until Sonic Superstars comes out. But after that, as far as I'm aware, there's not going to be any other shit going on, and we can properly keep diving in, so that'll be good. But oh yeah, Collision Chaos is like, it's hilarious that they don't seem to have a proper shuffle mode. Oh no, default. Yeah, default should be shuffle, but instead it just goes sequentially through everything. So you get Happy Birthday, then Collision Chaos, then what? Neo Green Hill Zone, I think. And then you get the Sonic Generations version of the Sonic Generations classic version of Escape from the City. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, Sonic Frontiers DLC 3 is a big question mark. When that comes out, we will also do that. We may do it the same as we've been doing with Sonic Origins, which is just play them simultaneously unless there's a reason to pause. Especially with Sonic Superstars coming out, I don't want to keep holding up the Supersonic Let's Play if I can keep us moving. But Sonic Frontiers DLC 2, next week's videos are already recorded for that. We are probably... including the videos that are coming out this week, we're probably less than 4 hours from the end of Sonic Frontiers, from Sonic's Birthday Bash. Where I'm at with recording, I think it's 2 hours or less to be done. So cool. So to kind of back up a little bit to the house thing. So this is where things get a little bit interesting on that regard. So along with moving being tricky, it does mean that where everyone else is in relation to us changes. So like Jeff and Dave and Peter are all, and I think even Teddy are going to be closer by a good stretch compared to where they are now. On the edge, John will also be ultimately closer as well. On the flip side, CJ and Felice go from being walking distance to being an hour, 15-minute drive away. And that is going to be a problem. We are figuring things out. CJ and I have been talking a little bit, trying to figure out how we are trying to make that work. We still intend to continue and complete Let's Play Dead. There may be a point where I am grabbing a duffel bag with some basic recording equipment and the Xbox and taking a train ride to CJ's place for like the weekend or something and just recording a shitload at a time. Or we're going to figure out a way to do it remotely or something. I don't know. But we are going to figure something out. And I don't know. I really don't know what is going to go on from there. Same thing for Ben. Ben lives pretty close. He lives like a 10, 15-minute drive away on the other side of town. That obviously changes a lot as well. He's going to be more than an hour away. And I don't like, he's already pretty unavailable most of the time anyway, so I'm obviously not gonna I'm not kicking anybody out, to be clear. But my assumption is that we probably aren't going to see much more of Ben, unfortunately. He is always welcome, to be clear. He is always welcome to join us, and I hope that he does join us for stuff. And I hope it's not just for like event things necessarily, like anniversaries or charity streams. That'd be good for him, like if he does make it up for those too. But I don't know. The channel is 12 and a half years old. There obviously comes a point where people come and go. Dustin, that reminds me, I guess Dustin will also be a lot closer. So hopefully we'll be able to see him on there more again as well. We'll see. Same goes for Ian. I think Ian will also be closer. But yeah, so I don't know what is going to happen in that regard. We're going to do our best. We're going to figure stuff out. But at the same time, we're all in our 30s. We're all in our like mid 30s, basically. And we've been at this for a long time, and there may be a point where people decide like that it's time for them to be done too. So it sucks, but like it's so we'll see how things go. I have gray hairs. I don't think they show up on here, but I've got gray hairs coming in over here. I'm becoming an old. When I started this channel, I was 24 years old. And now I'm not. So yeah, I had just turned 24. We actually recorded the first podcast when I was 23. So time has passed. And we're all getting older and such, and but I don't know. I plan to run this channel until the day that I physically can't. So there we go. Yeah, it didn't start on my birthday. It started the day after my birthday. We recorded it the day before my birthday, and then we posted the first podcast, which was not live back then, the day after my birthday. Yeah, it's always interesting. It's always interesting where the grays show up and where they tend to like crowd up first. I have, for whatever reason, it's coming in on the right side of my head more than the left side. It's mostly like right along the arc right here. Like on my head, there aren't really any silver hairs, but right along like the edge of the scalp and the beard, there's like ding, 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 ding. There's like individual gray hairs. I have one that comes in like right here, and it loves to make itself known. It might even, I'm trying to see if it's actually visible right now. That one right there, I think, is my gray hair. It's a little bit visible. I say my gray hair like there's one, but I have one extremely prominent beard gray hair. Sarah's got a few of them. She's doing the little salt and pepper streaks thing, which is fun. But yeah, so man. Well, it's funny. So Meg, one of the earliest folks on the on the channel, her family just genetically goes gray early. Literally 10 years ago, when we were really early into all of this stuff, she had like salt and pepper gray hair stuff starting, and her brother, who was on the channel once for, I want to say, Mega Man 5, he had been like mostly to fully gray since he was like 20. Maybe even a little younger, like just straight up gray hair. There's a local comedian, Rob Crean, that I did some sketches with way back in the day with Anthony Sibeli, and he also just had gray hair from the time he was like a teenager. So it's fucking wild. But yeah, I don't know. I have no intention of closing down the channel anytime soon. That's not a constant mood. There are definitely individual days and stretches of time where I'm like, man, what if I just don't? But honestly, I think ultimately I just will wind up, even if I take that seriously enough to make changes about it, that'll just be, all right, I'm going to do less of this, and I'm going to do something a little bit more casual, but it'll still be a thing that exists, something like that. Oh yeah, I'm not worried about looking old. Honestly, I'm happy that I have been lucky enough right now. I'm not going bald anywhere. My hair, has the exact same quantity to it in terms of like how it grows out now as it did 10 years ago, as it did 15 years ago. So I'm happy about that. I don't care one iota about going gray. If I start going bald, I'm probably going to start just lean into it, right? Whether you do the monk thing or get the widow's peak, I guess, or what, like when it starts going that way, it's like, all right, we'll just kind of like figure out there's hairstyles that work for a lot of different balding types. And honestly, if it got bad enough that it was mostly bald, I would probably just get rid of it all. I don't intend to do that anytime soon. Preferably not for like 50 years. But regardless, it's funny. They say that for men, puberty essentially, like, traces of puberty keep going until 35, more or less. Like, there's still elements of that keep going. And so I hit 35, and then the second I was done with 35, I started seeing gray hairs pop up, and I'm like, oh, cool, nice. But yeah, so yeah, honestly, if I go bald, it'll just make it easier for me to do characters in skits and stuff. Just wear wigs for everything. That'll be easy. Cool. I had a shower thought the other day. This has nothing to do with anything. It's just at the top of this because I wrote it down. I was in bed. I was half asleep. A thought occurred to me, and I wrote it down. And it's just silly. It's kind of a neat little coincidence, but the ratio of the time it takes sunlight to reach the Earth to the length of a day is the same as the ratio of the length of an hour to the length of a week. Meaningless, means nothing. It's just kind of interesting. I don't know. It takes sunlight about 1/7 of an hour to reach Earth, and a day being 1/7 of a week. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. Again, means nothing. It's just a fascinating thing because I thought about it. I was like, all right, you know where the sun is, but that's where the sun was 8.5 minutes ago. And I started thinking about, I was like, okay, so how far away from that spot does that make the sun in actual reality compared with where we are perceiving it thanks to the speed of light, which itself gets into all sorts of relativistic observational stuff. That stuff is like fascinating and I love it, but it's terrifying because I am not one of those fucking weirdos who's like, yeah, the world's a matrix. We got to bust out of the matrix. Here, I'm going to sell fucking rhino pills while I go live in Romania or whatever. But there's a certain amount of fascination that I have with the fact that the universe it's sort of a giant biochemical physical engine that runs on a very specific set of rules. And it's just kind of fascinating. I was a physics major at first in college, and some of that stuff was very fascinating to me then too. But, the red pill was originally literally, a metaphor for transitioning, right? And a bunch of fucking weirdos became a bunch of fucking weirdos. Oh, I wasn't very subtle with what I was referring to there. Don't you worry. But that's beside the point. Yeah. Where even was I? I was talking about Mega Man. We talked about Star Force. Resident Evil. I kind of got into this a little bit. Resident Evil 4 has been moving forward. We are in, I guess, Act 2, or like, it's kind of hard to tell exactly how they're divvying this up, but we are on our way. We have killed the mayor, and we're on our way to killing Salazar. Yes, I think, because Ramon Salazar, I think, and then Sadler is the tall guy. I think I'm trying to remember how this works, but I don't know. We have like another week or so of episodes recorded there. I think CJ is gonna be coming this weekend to record more. We're gonna be trying to record as much as we fucking can, just to get as far into it as we can, because then things are before the time we're not going to finish the game before moving happens. Like, it's just impossible. There's way too much. So we're going to do the best we can. There may be stretches where Resident Evil 4 doesn't have videos. which sucks because we were trying to keep that moving and all of that, but stuff gets in the way. So yeah, kind of hard to say exactly there. We will figure stuff out for it. At the very least, for Resident Evil 4, I would like to have CJ continue playing that because he's been playing all of it so far. But I don't know, we'll see how that goes. Kingdom Hearts, we do have Kingdom Hearts Kingdom Hearts Key. We have already recorded our reactions and review of sorts to. We haven't done Unchained Key yet. It's probably going to be a post-move thing just because we just don't have time at this point. Even this weekend, which is both Sarah and I are at least here this weekend, I just don't know if we're going to be able to manage it. There's a lot of prep that we have to do just because, so Unchained Key, we're going to be playing in-engine. We're going to be watching in-engine because that's kind of how that works. We have a list of what scenes go in what order and all of that too. But that's going to be kind of a long experience because there's a lot more scenes that weren't. It's weird. The scenes that we did watch for Kingdom Hearts Key, it hasn't come out yet. I have the videos were already recorded. The stuff that we saw really really kind of skipped any of the stuff that happened outside of the main world of the game. There's a main hub area, but there's also Wonderland and the Coliseum and stuff like that. The Key one skipped that, which is honestly fine considering a good chunk of Unchained Key is going to be retreading the same stuff with minor differences. So if there's more here, that's fine, to be honest. But we haven't recorded that yet. That'll probably be an early September thing. Kingdom Hearts Key will probably get posted. If there's any lapse in Star Force, then that'll get posted that weekend. If there isn't a lapse, it'll probably get posted one of the next 4 weekends. It'll get posted. So we have Kingdom Hearts Key, Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key, and then we are doing, I believe the next thing that we're doing after that is Kingdom Hearts 0.2. Where did I put I have my notes for this, but oh my God, my notes app is it always gets weird. It defaults in a weird way. Where is that note? Where did it go? Why do you like this? There we go. Yeah, 0.2 Birth by Sleep, a fragmentary passage is coming after Unchained Key. Union Cross is... So, Kingdom Hearts Key is the original Flash game. Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key is the remake for mobile devices, which is my understanding is it's 90 to 95% the same, different ending, and doesn't end where the first one did. It then continues into Union Cross, which is essentially a season 2 of sorts, which continues the story and keeps going and is completely new. None of that stuff is covered with the original Key. So we're doing Key, Unchained Key, 0.2 Birth by Sleep. Then we're doing Key back cover, Union Cross. We kind of went back and forth on a bunch of these things for a while, but ultimately I was like, you know what? All of these things overlap in different ways with each other, so we're just going to play them in release order. It just makes the most sense to do it like that, and it's fine. Honestly, it does go along with the Square Enix has a guide essentially for what order to play stuff in. And it's entirely in release order with the exception of 358/2 they recommend playing before Kingdom Hearts 2, which I think is the wrong answer. I think it undercuts the mystery of Kingdom Hearts 2 to play 358/2 first. I think 358 Days Over 2 is more intriguing if you've already met Roxas and now you are knowingly essentially prequelizing Kingdom Hearts 2 and seeing from a different perspective the bridge between 1 and 2. I think that's a more interesting way of doing it than spending a year playing as a character you straight up haven't met, have no reason to Like, and not just that, but he looks kind of like Sora, but at that point you've had no anything that leads you to know who this guy is. And then you do Kingdom Hearts 2 and you're playing like a Roxas that doesn't even know that stuff that just happened, but I don't know. Yeah, it was really weird that they recommended them in that order. It's so weird that they do that. But yeah, general rule of thumb, as far as I can tell, is if you play them in release order, you get a pretty fucking good version of the story. The only thing I had to figure out was, so 0.2 Birth by Sleep and Key back cover are both releases from the 2.8 collection. Like, they just kind of came out all together as that. So doing the order for that was, I looked a little bit up as far as recommendations, and I was like, okay, I think more or less people like, there's parts of one in the other anyway, so that's the order we're going to do that in. So Key, Unchained Key, Birth by Sleep 0.2, back cover, Union Cross, and then Kingdom Hearts 3. So yeah, but that's where that's at. The hope is that we get through everything in time. I don't think Kingdom Hearts 4 is coming out anytime soon. I will be genuinely surprised if it comes out in the next 3 years. So I fully expect that the Kingdom Hearts, that the Heartless Let's Play is going to go into like pause territory before Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out. And if it doesn't, then we'll probably just start putting out more Kingdom Hearts material. So yeah, exactly. There's no chance. They didn't put any kind of release date on the original teaser, like announcement trailer. So I don't expect that we're going to be seeing anything for that at all. Yeah, exactly. So I don't think we're going to be seeing Kingdom Hearts 4 anytime soon. Other stuff. Oh, the Crown Tundra. We kind of skip over this with Pokemon. So in the interest of continuing to clear stuff out, we'd been kind of, holding off on progressing in Pokemon Swords DLC of the Crown Tundra because that has been a Jeff and Ben joint. But I think since we are moving and since the odds are extremely good that Ben is going to be like once or twice a year at best presence in terms of just like logistics, I think we're going to just continue without Ben after the move. I don't know if he'll be available at all this weekend or 2 weeks from now. We will see. If he is, then we'll try to squeeze him in. If he's not, then he's not. And then post-move, the Crown Tundra will probably get cleared out either just as we have time when Jeff's around, or specifically after Arceus is done. So yeah, it's gonna be a bummer to not have Ben for the whole thing there so close to the end, but I just don't think that it's going to happen, unfortunately. But we got through the entire main game and the first DLC, so honestly, that's pretty fucking good. And the first and the original game post game too. So pretty huge amount of that. It'll be nice to clear that from the schedule ultimately as well. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe is also more than likely just going to wait until after we move. I don't think that we're going to have enough people together this weekend or 2 weeks from now. I don't know. This weekend was the one that was kind of posted up as being like the definite we're around, let's do stuff weekend. Seems like it's going to be it's going to be a smaller turnout than I was maybe hoping for overall, but we're going to do the best we can. Going to get stuff done, and I think Kirby's just going to wait until we are moved at that point. With it being kind of a one-off game experience, like we don't have a series of Kirby games that we're producing weekday stuff for. It's okay that we're kind of taking it bit by bit. And yeah, we'll just keep on pushing with that, and then we'll be good there too. I think that's it for the usual stuff. There are some other things that are happening and returning and continuing that I think I'm going to leave for the sizzle video tomorrow. There's a lot of stuff that is coming up. I'm very excited about. I hope that you guys are excited as well for the stuff that we're putting out there. And essentially, all I'm asking at this point is a little more patience as we are getting through this month. 1 month from today. 1 month from today is Labor Day, and that will be properly the point where things will start to readjust. Things will start to slot back into place. Things will be a little bit more normal. We'll be knocking some of our side series off the list, and we'll be back to a more standard schedule for stuff. And honestly, once we do, we may start doing just random one-off games of other stuff. Just grab an NES game off the shelf, grab a Genesis game, do all that stuff. I'm really, really, really trying to focus on 2023, the remainder of it being essentially the great spring cleaning. Simplify, streamline, get everything back in order, and come into 2024 strong and rejuvenated and with a clear focus, a clear heading. And yeah, that'll be pretty good. If anything, stuff like PAX will make a good excuse to post up and try to get CJ to come out for recording stuff. Literally, we might record stuff in a hotel room just because we'll be there. So we'll see. I still would love one of these days. I know that there's a cost, or I think there's a cost for this, so it's not a super smart call financially, but I still would love one of these days to get a table on the floor of PAX East and just record stuff throughout one of those days, and essentially be like, all right, on blank day, we're going to be playing games on the floor. Feel free to come down and join, and essentially have like a mic or two pointed out over the tables and just like have people come up and do stuff. That's been kind of an idea for a long time, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how realistic that really is, but yeah. So we're buying a house. There we go. Yeah. There's so much going on. There is so much to do over these next 3 weeks. So there may be a week or two where there is almost nothing going up. And if that happens, that is because I am fully shifting my focus to making sure that we are good to go, and ready to move. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Honestly didn't think it was going to happen ever at a certain point, just because, I don't know, lived in the city. I've lived in this city for 11 years, and I've lived in a city in one capacity or another for, 18 and a half years now. It's been almost 20 years of living in Worcester and Somerville, in the city. We're actually going to be fairly close to Worcester, but we're going to be in the middle of goddamn nowhere. It's going to be great. It's going to be so quiet. I am really looking forward to it. Our landlord is having our backyard paved over again. There's a lot of bookending going on. I lost my job 1 month into moving into this apartment, and now a month before leaving the apartment, I lost a job again. And when we moved in, the backyard was a giant cement slab that was falling apart, and we broke it up with their permission. We broke it up. We bought a backyard's worth of dirt, and we're planting grass seed, and we put plants back there, and we put a patio back there, and we put stuff along the sides. And then we just didn't mow it for like 2 weeks, and it got a little out of control in terms of that. And I guess our next door neighbors, who have otherwise been pretty sweet and nice old ladies the whole time we've been here, complained to our landlord that they were seeing rats, which, like, yeah, it's the city. We've seen rats here for years. It has nothing to do. And the landlord, rather than trying to talk them down, went, okay, we're just going to, rather than fight this, I'm just going to pave over that. So the backyard that we spent a lot of time and money and effort to make and clean up and make look nice and not look like a literal fucking prison yard is about to go back to that. And the side of the building, too, which was, I think, just mulch before. So I feel really bad for our downstairs neighbors who have been there for like a year or so and are going and like just have to live with that or move out. And I feel bad for the folks who are moving in who were actually kind of interested in the backyard space and stuff. And the guy who was hired to do that paving was being annoyed today and yesterday by the old lady just standing outside and kind of telling him what to do. And it's like, lady, this is his job. He knows how to do it. It's so sad. It's so sad to watch it all just kind of go back to what it was before. But we're leaving in 3 weeks, so it's not really our problem anymore. I don't know. But yeah, so it'll be nice to get out of the way. Oh, we're moving on to like a 10-acre property, or is it 10 or 14? I forget. Acreage was a big part of it. Sarah wants a lot of space. I am into at least having a handful of acres, so this money was great. Our next door neighbor is several hundred feet away. It is going to be very nice. It's going to be nice to be able to do stuff outside and not worry about people gawking or anything and all of that. So, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so I am so excited and so tired, and there's been so much going on, and I am looking forward to the change. I'm looking forward to getting in there and trying stuff out. It'll also mean being able to set things up slightly more permanently than we have up here. There's a lot of stuff that's just kind of in place with duct tape and safety pins because we're like, all right, at some point we're going to move and we're not going to want all this stuff hammered down. But yeah, so there we go. Cat's out of the bag. We're buying a house. We're moving. And this time next month, we will not only be moved in, but we will have done a charity stream from our brand new house. So I am so fucking excited. I hope you guys are too. Just bear with us for the next 4 or 5 weeks, and then we'll be off to the races once again. I really appreciate all of you guys that have stuck around. I know that things have been a little bit hectic. I know that there's been a lot of like weirdness with update timing and scheduling and stuff. Again, there's going to be polls and threads going into the D-Pad Discord, which should be in the description below. And if you want to join in there, you can. We're a very welcoming, friendly community of folks. And yeah, we're going to see where things go. It's kind of a new era beginning for the D-Pad, sort of a D-Pad 2 kind of situation. So yeah. And yeah, patreon.com/dpadfm. Normally that'll be where this stuff goes. Next month is also going to be a public one just because we're going to be at the new place. And we're going to be doing our charity stream the next day. Also, normally that is a $9 tier thing to hang out live. We may change that depending on feedback to our Patreon stuff. So we'll see. dpad.store. Head there as well. There's a ton of merch. We're going to be putting up some new stuff this coming month, and we may start retiring some of those. It's gotten a little bit cluttered. There's a lot of stuff in there, and Teespring is not especially good at making it easy to navigate those stores, in my opinion. So we may start winding some of those down. Might do some sales on things as we do so. We will see. But thank you guys very, very much for hanging out. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.